With a voice broken by emotion, Cardinal Kevin Farrell gave the world the news that no one ever wanted to hear. Dear brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow, I inform you that our beloved Holy Father Francis has returned to the house of the Father. At 7:35 this morning, George Mario Bergoglio's heart stopped beating. His earthly journey has ended, but his spiritual legacy continues to speak in the gestures, choices, and words that have marked over a decade of pontificate. Pope Francis lived every day with his gaze turned towards the last, the discarded, the invisible. He made mercy concrete, transforming it into a pastoral style. With courage and delicacy, he showed the way of the gospel not as a rigid code, but as a living light that guides in the darkness, welcoming, forgiving, embracing. Elected on March 13, 2013, after the historic resignation of Benedict XVI, the first gesture he made was a simple, timid good evening from the Loggia of the Blessings. No stage effects, no solemn tone, just the voice of a man who came almost from the end of the world and who presented himself with the humility of a servant. From that moment on, the Church would experience a new, fresh, profound wind that would cross hearts and borders. Pope Francis was born in Buenos Aires on December 17, 1936, to a family of Italian origins. His father Mario was a railway worker. His mother Regina took care of the house and 5 children. George Mario Bergoglio grew up in a simple environment, steeped in faith and sobriety. After graduating as a chemical technician, he chose to follow a higher calling, and in 1958, entered the Jesuit novitiate. Ordained a priest in 1969, he began a journey of silent but tenacious service, which led him to become first provincial of the Society of Jesus in Argentina, then auxiliary bishop, Archbishop of Buenos Aires, and finally cardinal. In the hearts of the Argentine people, Bergoglio was already the father of the poor, the priest who traveled on the subway, who did not want frills or privileges, who preached with his life before his words. He brought that same simple and ardent soul with him to Rome when in 2013 he was chosen as the 266th successor of Peter. The name chosen, Francis, was the first sign of a deep and countercurrent direction. No pope had ever dared to call himself like the Saint of Assisi. And Bergoglio did it to give a clear message, a poor, close, and moving church. It has opened up new spaces within the often rigid structures of the Church. Attention to divorced and remarried people, welcoming homosexuals, valorizing the role of women, listening to the geographical and human peripheries. He denounced the idolatry of money. He defended migrants. He raised the world's gaze on the Amazon, on the climate, on the common home that we are devastating. With his encyclical Laudato Si, he united faith and science in a prophetic voice that still today calls for the urgency of protecting creation. With Fratelli Tutti, he outlined a manifesto for universal brotherhood, beyond every wall, beyond every religion. Even in the years of illness and fatigue, Pope Francis never stopped being a pastor. Even from a wheelchair, he continued to smile, to meet, to bless. He suffered in silence with the discretion of the saints. His gaze, full of mercy, touched millions of hearts. Today, the world mourns his departure, but not as those without hope. The poor, the sick, the migrants, the young people he always embraced with strength mourn. The Church mourns the loss of a father. Yet, amidst the sincere tears of millions of faithful, words that leave a deep bitterness resound today. those of many political leaders, ministers, and heads of state who are quick to express condolences and admiration for Pope Francis. They praise his mercy, his message of peace, his prophetic voice. But these same leaders, in reality, have often ignored or even hindered his teaching. They are the same ones who, with their hands tightly gripped on power and their eyes fixed on profit, finance the arms race, justify wars, remain silent in the face of the killing of thousands of innocent people, of massacred children, in Palestine, in Ukraine, in Africa, and in other tormented areas of the world. Now they appear shocked and saddened, but their words ooze hypocrisy. Because while Francis was shouting to the world that war is madness, they were making military alliances and multiplying defense budgets. While the Pope was calling for peace, they were blessing the bombings. While he was embracing the poor, they were pushing them back to the borders. This belated and constructed mourning is an empty performance, a mask worn for convenience. There is nothing Christian in those who praise a prophet but daily betray his word. There is no respect in those who greet him today but have ignored his cry for years. It is the hypocrisy of power which Francis has always forcefully denounced, and which today, more than ever, must be unmasked. But there remains an immense gratitude for having walked alongside a pope who truly knew how to be the vicar of Christ, not in titles, but in gestures, in style, in the radicality of love. The name of Francis will remain in history, but even more so, it will remain in the hearts of those who felt close to him, of those who, thanks to him, rediscovered the beauty of the gospel, the urgency of tenderness, the strength of simplicity. In heaven, now, there is a pastor who continues to pray for us. And on earth, millions of people carry forward that dream, a church that goes out, that consoles, that welcomes. Pope Francis, thank you. You walked with us. Now rest in the peace of eternal love.